Did you know that there's stair climbing competitions all over the world? Do you like stair climbing? Well, we're going to get into that plus more. This is Athletic Definition. I'm your host, Coach Ray Z. Today, we're going to be talking about stair climbing and the benefits of them, as well as I've had the chance to participate back in 2018, 2019. I was really on a roll. I was feeling really good. And a lot of the competitions I do, I was in really good shape because I find ways that keep me motivated. Here's my bling from hold on. This one's 2019. And this is, if you're watching it on the stream, Twitch, Facebook, here in the audience, thank you for being here. This is from the YMCA Los Angeles downtown stair climb, and it's at the US Bank Tower. And this is the anniversary one, and this one was in 2018. And when I release this podcast, I will be releasing on my YouTube channel, Coach Razy, my GoPro. I recorded the whole thing, so I will be dropping the podcast and the video that goes along with it at the same time. In there, I give you a nice view of kind of the whole experience. In the stairwell, there's probably really not much to see. But the great thing about stairs, it's really, really good exercise. As I was kind of looking into it, because I always look into everything before I do it. It had been a while, but this is also known as tower running, which I would say most people don't run. And it's also known as vertical running. Even the elites, there's actual elite divisions, and these guys are flying. They make it up to buildings with like 1,600 steps and 10 minutes, 50 some seconds. I actually did not have time to research my time, and I'm not registered for this year. I'm considering it. I'll at the very end be sure to stick around. I'm going to tell you the actual additions that they added this year that they didn't have before, and also what they will be taking away. But if you don't do stair climbing, I always see, I think a lot of women enjoy stair climbing. I always see them on the Stairmasters at the gym. And besides that, if you just mix them into your workout, it's really good. You know, they're, first of all, if you're like concerned, they're really easy to learn. I mean, who doesn't know how to stair climb? That's all you pretty much need to know to try and do one of these competitions. You go at your own pace, unless you think you're elite, but you'll find out as you start your training for it, they're low impact unless you're going to try and compete and go super fast. They can help you improve your cardio. They can help you strengthen your muscles. They can help you just kind of improve your balance or coordination. These are all results that may occur just depending on your fitness level. Also, it helps you hit pretty much all parts of your legs, from your glutes, your calves, your hamstrings, your quads. And around the world, it is popular. And it's not only popular around the world, but in the United States. I checked, and for the year of 2022, there's actually 32 stair climbing competitions in the US, across the United States alone, ranging from New York to San Francisco to all in. I couldn't really confirm it, but it seems, or they're taking credit, and it's very possible that the Empire State Building is the oldest tower race in this country. According to them, it'll be, well, from the video that I saw, this video, and I'll link it, put it on the show notes. Was recorded in teen, so now this would be the 45th year for them, and that's the oldest tower racing as far as we know. They're bringing athletes from all over the world. Me getting to participate, I do know. I didn't know till I did the race. As I was racing, you know, there was one guy kind of pushing everybody at maybe floor 62, and it turns out it was some guy I know from a running club in LA, and I found out he's like an elite runner in stair climbing, and he goes all over the world, at least in the US, to do stair climbing competitions. I'm actually going to look for him and send him an invite to come. I really had no idea. It was just something I've always wanted to do. I seen some of my friends do this competition, and I'm like, I always like to compete. Something to excite me, to keep me like going. And as I mentioned, at this time, 2018, 2019, I was really trying to push myself. Like, what could I do physically? Each year I was like trying to take it a notch up. And at the time I was doing jiu-jitsu competitions, doing my marathons, playing the Nike tournament. And those 2 years, 2018, 2019, as you saw the medals, I was incorporating stair climbing into my workouts. When you register for the race, they allow you to go into, it's not the same building, and I'm sure they probably changed it this year, but they give you access to this other building to go practice stair climbing. And what people would do is you take, maybe it's only like, I don't know, 62 floors, or it's not as tall as the actual building that you're climbing. But then you take the elevators down or you run it down and you do it again. That way you can get your workout in. And I would mix that in at least once a week. And then from there, so I would like go to work, after work, drive to downtown LA, do my workout, and then on the way back, maybe stop at the gym or do that the next day. But I was incorporating it, and I definitely felt the benefits, because in 2019 is the year that I also did the Lake Tahoe Triple Marathon, which is 3 marathons in 3 days. And I definitely would say that the stair climbing had a lot to do with it. It's a quick heart rate, just it's going to get you going. So there's 32 competitions throughout the United States this year, and that does not include the international stair climbing events. As I mentioned, people do it all over. I'd be interested to know if the elite people are, when they cross over into running, or if they actually do running, or if they just focus on this, or if they actually place in, and maybe I could look into it, but it'll take me more time. If the elite tower climbers are actually like, could they win races? And it doesn't matter what level, if it's a half marathon or a 5K or a 100-miler, because to get your heart rate that quickly and be able to keep it under control, you're definitely in good condition. And I speak from experience just from doing it 2 times. And I'll give more details about the one I did. And what kind of people do start climbing, the tower events. I would say I've seen kids do it, male, female, regular people, elderly people. There's an elderly division, whatever you may identify with yourself as well. Everyone's welcome. It's always to raise money for some sort of charity as an event. From what I was seeing, the New York one, since it's the oldest one, and basically just the nostalgia of the Empire State Building, that's like the one that everybody wants to go. I'm sure it's not easy to do. When I was looking through the list, there's at least 3 other races in New York for stair climbing. And that would be pretty cool. Anytime I do a vacation, my vacation includes some sort of competition. Like if I'm going to a different state or somewhere to know, it's because I'm going hiking, I'm going to go do a tournament or some sort of competition. To me, that's really the way to kind of see a city, especially if you're going to run. You'll see places that, people that live there may never even have seen, because they're always, driving, or never have been the pedestrian way of viewing things. Some places you just can't get to in cars as well. So to give you an idea of just some of the steps, the Shard London is in London, of course, and it's 1,479 steps. The Empire building in New York is 1,576 steps. And this is the largest one that I found outside of the U.S. It's the I think it's called Nielsen Railway, Stair, Switzerland, and of course it's in Switzerland. And that one is 11,674 steps. The one that I have done, and they changed the name this year. It used to be called a little bit different, but now it's called the YMCA Stair Climb, and that was it. But now they added the and Urban Hike. This year it takes place on Friday, September 30th, 2022. It is at the US Bank Tower in downtown Los Angeles. And registration, if you're interested in joining, it opens on July 1st, 2022. If you've never been to LA and you want to kind of try to do something different, or even if you say live in LA, you can try to do something different. There's actually a virtual option this year. They kind of did that during the pandemic, but I read this will be the last year for the virtual option. So if you live across the country and you're looking for some sort of motivation, I'm always trying to give you ideas to get you to work out or find something different. So you can do a virtual option on this. Last year, what they did is we have the Los Angeles Coliseum, kind of South Central Los Angeles, or South LA, as they like to call it now. And right there, they have stairs, not as high, of course, as the U.S. Bank Tower, uh, but you can climb them, and you just would do it multiple times. And since it was outdoors, that's like where the Raiders used to play back in the days, and that was built for the '84 Olympics, so it's more open. USC plays there. That's where they held it. I did not participate in that one. I really enjoyed the tower just because, as I mentioned, it was a good variety, a good change up as far as working out, especially doing it once a week. I would do that building at least twice, and then I would, head and do something else, head out and do something else. And it is 1,005 feet. It's the tallest stairwell west of the Mississippi. Uh, in the past, they've had up to about 4,000 participants, and you would be like, that would be mayhem going up these stairwells with 4,000 people. What they do is they start the event, like, let's say, for example, at 8 in the morning, and from 8 in the morning to 6 p.m., or later, actually, let's say 8 p.m., from 8 in the morning to 8 p.m., they try and schedule as many people. Hey, come between this time and that time. That way it won't be as crowded when you go in there. From some of the YouTube that I watched, and I can put them in the show notes, the ones I watched the Empire State Building climb. There was one, I think, in Hong Kong, and then I watched the YMCA climb already. And the one in Empire State Building seems like there's some places where it's very narrow. You're not going to be able to really even cut. Like there's just enough room for it seemed like one person, because it was just a bunch of people lining up. I've never done that one. It seems like something cool to do, and I'll probably look into that one. I would assume since it's so popular, there's probably some sort of waiting list or lottery to get into it. Like the New York Marathon, you have to win a lottery or be fundraising a lot of a charity, and if you get in, it's pretty, like, I think $400 or $500. So I'm assuming that the Empire State Building, for the popularity, it'll probably be pricey. This one, like I mentioned, it's about 4,000 participants, not all at once, and it is 1,664 steps. That is 75 stories tall. When you go there and you start, it's up to you how fast you want to go. From what I saw and researched, I saw that a lot of the top guys wear like those weightlifting gloves with the cut off fingers, and they hold onto the rail and they kind of like pull themselves up and try to go. So the first year I took them, and I forgot to take them the second year. I feel they do help. That's one thing you could do. This year, and then so once you're finished, you go to the building. In the building, there's you're up there, like 75 stories up. As you go down, you can see the view of Los Angeles, and they give you this pretty nice view of LA. And then they have this invisible slide that you can pay extra if you participate in the event. In the past, I didn't check for this year, you will get a discount for that slide. I got to do it last year, and I'm going to show it. Not on the first video, because I did it the next year. So I'm going to be releasing two. I'll release the first video of the podcast and the one after that once I'm done editing it. But that one, I did go on the slide. It's really short. I was disappointed in this. And for the price that they charge you and beforehand, and I don't think that this has to do with the YMCA or the fundraising. I think this is separate. I think this is part of the building. But it's see-through, and you slide down, and before you know it, it's over. It goes by quick. You'll see if you watch the Coach Razy YouTube channel. You'll see how short it is. Really, I had the GoPro on top of my head, and then I recorded a couple of my coworkers. The second year I did some my coworkers, so I recorded them going down the tower. Great view of LA. There is a bar in the first one. The first year that I did it, the way we walked through, it's pretty cool. I don't know, different laser, special effects type of like art little museum that we got to walk through and we could look at. And then the second year we didn't do that. So you'll see that on the YouTube video. When you walk down to a beer garden, and they would have like a, you walked into a beer garden, they would have a band, and the band would play, and that was a good time. As you're there, the different teams, people are coming in. So there's a special discount for participants from the LA County Fire Department or LAPD or any sort of basically police officer, fireman. And it's pretty cool because they do it full gear, they get a discount. So they go there in their full gear and everyone's like all pumped up, like, yeah, cheering them on. You'll see that also on the YouTube video because everyone's like, just did it, and you realize that was pretty tough. Imagine these guys climbing with full gear in those tanks and how much it weighs. So major props to them. It pumps me up. Thinking about it makes me want to do it again this year, as I mentioned. So they are changing it a bit. It looks like there's, let's see here, new this year. And I'm reading this off their website. It says there's 3 ways to participate in September 30th. So it'll be on September 30th with a donation of $125. And this goes to the all proceeds go to the YMCA so that they could do a lot of funding for the programs that they have for the community, especially in the downtown area. This year they're doing, besides you being able to climb the steps of 1,664, 75 towers, you have the option to do the urban hike, which is 1.3 miles. They did not have this in the past. It says you go through the past iconic downtown landmarks, not a timed event. So once you're done, if you're not really feeling the beer garden, some people don't like to drink, you have the option to go on a little hike. Because sometimes, when you do it, it could be like 20 minutes or depending on your fitness level, 25 minutes, those top guys 10, maybe an hour. Sometimes you still kind of feel like, catching your breath. So I think that added hike that they're doing sounds like a very nice event, especially iconic landmarks in downtown LA. A virtual stair climb, you have to do 75 floors at least, and this will be the last time. They will have 60 elite competitors this year at the stairwell, and then it says they also have a heroes challenge, which is, that's what they call it when they have firefighters or policemen. So it's a heroes challenge. And on that hike, you get to see, you pass through Mocha, which I actually don't know what that is, the Board, Disney Concert Hall, the Grand LA, and more during this way. I think I actually have an idea where this is at. I am very familiar with the downtown area. I've done many races, and just from living in LA for so long, I will let you know if I end up doing it. If I do, and there's reception in the towers, maybe I could show you the training along the way, and we'll see. I'll reach out to them and see what they thought of this show. So hopefully this gives you another idea of maybe working out. Maybe you never thought about stair climbing as something to motivate you, to kind of get you going, or just all the benefits of stair climbing. It all depends on your pace in the beginning. And yes, there are times where it's very difficult to breathe, especially if once the competition started. To me, it was about time. So even though I wanted to go fast, I was going as fast as I could climbing, but you're not running like a sprint. In the beginning, maybe I did a little bit, but after that, looking at the footage, it just seems slow. But when I looked at the elite guys and they're climbing, it's not like they're going super, super fast. Your heart rate is really, really just going. If you're pushing, I didn't see it, but other people who participated in it said there was throw up in some of the stairwells. I'm sure some people get sick and throw up. Since so many people are going, even though they separated, it could get a little bit, sometimes like not enough airflow. So they do open up the other floors so that it could breathe. And then there are a few locations where you could stop and get water, catch your breath, lower your heart rate. And then of course at the end, you can catch your breath as well. There's also outdoor races, as I mentioned. So if you're a little claustrophobic, but you're still looking to do some different event, or had no idea that there was such a thing as stair climbing, like a lot of people don't. The only reason I found out is because from running clubs in LA, you follow people on social media, and then someone did it. And then that's how I heard about it. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. But even watching them do it, I never really did it. And then I was just trying to change it up, trying to do something different, even though I, diversify myself by doing so many different types of workouts. I'm like, yeah, stair climbing. I need to do more stair climbing. I know it'll be good for my workouts. What's a good way for me to get myself to do more stair climbing? I know, let's sign up for an event. It goes to charity, it's for a good cause, gives me extra motivation to work out. And then you sign up with friends, and then we would go together to do the stair climbing, getting ready for this event. And at the same time, it's great cross training for the other events that I was getting ready for. Because how is stair climbing not going to be helpful for marathoning or running? It's great work all around workout, also for the jiu-jitsu and the basketball. So if I end up doing it, like I mentioned, I'll be sure to keep you tuned in. I really enjoyed it, and we'll see what ends up happening this year. There's so many different options. I'm still trying to weigh it out. And for sure, the only thing that I am doing is the Lake Tahoe Triple. That's already been registered for since last year. I had to defer it. I'm actually going to get ready to go out for a run. So I hope you enjoyed this edition of Athletic Definition. This is Coach Ray Z. I believe this is episode number 115. I will be back next week with a Thursday and Friday show and Saturday show. I'm going to do 3 days in a row. If all goes well, I'll have my friend Winston Ramos from Brazil, from Manaus, Brazil. I've known this guy for years. He became a black belt in jiu-jitsu, I think by like 21, 22. Not only that, this guy was just strong. Like I've met a few people like Brazilians, but from Manaus, this guy, especially for his athletic ability at anything he would do. At the time, I was working at an MMA gym, so we had this peg board wall where you basically have to take a peg out and then stick it to the hole in the other little section that's cut out, and you climb up that way. We also had a salmon ladder, which, if you don't know what a salmon ladder is, it's been seen on Ninja Warriors, and it's basically like a pull-up chin-up bar. But what you do is you have to lift the bar off the attachment to the bars and attach it to the one above it. Well, Winston was so strong at the time. I'm sure he's probably even stronger now. He would be able to skip a attachment, a hook, because there would be levels. So there would be a hook for you to go on. He was able to skip a hook and go on to the next one. When I did that, I hit my head. I didn't even try to skip one. I just tried to do it normally. I hit my head. It hurt so much. I didn't really want to do the salmon ladder anymore. We had like a little obstacle course because we did Ninja Warrior training there. We had the warp wall. We had climbing the net. We had it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. We actually had one guy who started training with us, Obi. He was more a basketball player, but he really got into it, and he made it on Ninja Warriors. He made it onto the second round. So I've got to train with a bunch of different people, different disciplines, different arts, and I get excited about working out. I get excited about fitness. I get excited, and I want to share my excitement with you. I want you to have passion for working out. I don't want you to feel like it's a drag. I want you to see the benefit. I want you to feel the benefit. When you feel good, when you feel more in touch with your body, when you realize, oh, this muscle is active. That's what they mean by activate the muscle. I can actually feel this, or you start having those endorphins going, or people start commenting to you, hey man, you look good, or what's going on, or what are you doing? Trust me, they come, especially in the beginning. For me, I've been doing it for so long where I used to get, especially like with my close friends on social media, it'd be like, oh, congratulations, a marathon. Wow. How do you do it? And then after a while, they're like, oh, it's kind of expected. I can't even get a like on Facebook. You know how it is. But thank you so much for joining. I hope you enjoyed it. I will see you next week, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So hopefully, if all goes well, I'll have Winston on Friday. He's a current MMA fighter. His wife is the current champion in I can't remember the name of it, but it's shown on the UFC Fight Pass. So his wife became champ. I actually got to grapple with her many years ago. She's one of I've been tapped out by a woman and nothing wrong with it, but I do keep track. But 3 times, and she's one of them. So everyone that I've been tapped out has been elite, and it's not really. I mean, as far as females, uh, to me, in the beginning when I first started, was a white belt. Yeah, most guys, that's what's going to happen. Your ego is going to take over. Like you can't tap out to a girl. You can't tap out to a girl. But she got me, and I'm just being honest. She got me. She turned out to be a world champion. She's a current champion, so makes no shame to my game even better. Like, yeah, I lost to a world champion. Now he's fighting. I could see Winston in the future becoming a UFC champion. He's good. He's talented. His stand up is solid. So looking forward to having him this upcoming Friday. And you never know what other guests may appear on Saturday or Thursday. So thank you, Rudy, for joining. Thank you, Woody, for being in the studio. I appreciate all the support in the streams and also on the podcast. So I will see you next week. Enjoy the rest of your day, night, evening, morning, wherever you are in the